The following program is paid for by Kelsher Communications. Winston-Salem, a city built on tobacco, textiles, technology. Its citizens, ingenious, creative, hardworking. A key ingredient in the success of this city was the black population that provided a strong labor force for the factories, mills, and other support services.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third show of our four-part series, The Rise to Prominence. These are conversational stories about the lives and the careers of some of Winston-Salem's most prominent members of the African-American community. I'm Margaret Johnson, joined by J.P. Beaty, the producer of the program. J.P., on this week's show, you had an in-depth conversation with a brilliant lady, Dr. Virginia Newell. She was a high school teacher, a college professor, member of the Board of Aldermen, yes, which is now the City Council, and the first professor to introduce and teach computer science language at Winston-Salem State University.
Margaret, I was blown away by this lady. You know, I met a lot of people, but Dr. Newell just took it to a different level in talking with her. And I was just in awe as she talked with me about her life from childhood, growing up, moving to Winston-Salem, teaching, becoming one of the first female members of the Board of Aldermen, teaching computer science language at Winston-Salem State. A remarkable lady. I mean, and did I mention that she was 100 years old when I talked to her? Her mind is sharper than mine.
She is still very sharp today, and she's an icon in this community.
Absolutely.
Now, you also have the story that you're going to share today with someone that's very close to you as well.
Yeah, Margaret, another member of my family, Al Beaty. Al is my other big brother and was my mentor growing up. Al became the assistant city manager for the city of Winston-Salem, and unfortunately we lost Al in 2014. But Al left an indelible mark with this city. He's always been a hard worker, and he really cared about people. So we do a special thing on Al.
This is pretty incredible. Sounds like you've got two great stories for us today. So why don't we get started with Dr. Virginia Newell.
Let's do it.
I am the eighth in a family of 9 kids, and I'm one of 4 girls, and we had 5 boys in our family. And how I got to Winston was, the reason I got to Winston, I guess I would say, is because the schools were not that good in Davie, and they are still not as good as the schools in Forsyth County because, well, the taxes, you got more taxes, and the schools are run by taxes. And the schools were so far from our home. We lived on Yadkin Valley Road, and when I came along, we were the only mainly black family on that road. And a lot of people said, Virginia, did you really? Well, Mama kept me out of school for at least a year because I was a little baby, and she just couldn't send me that far walking. Now, the reason why we walked, the buses came by our house. They came by the highway, and we were, I don't know, I would say 20, 30 feet or 40 from the highway. And the white kids would go to the highway and get on the bus, and it would come up Yadkin Valley Road. And we would be walking. Now, the 2 that are left in my family who were left home were my baby brother and me. And so we were the only 2 that were left to walk to school.
To support his family, Virginia Newell's father constructed houses and had a very good reputation as a builder.
Well, let me say something about this. My daddy was a builder. He built houses, and for the most part, he built houses for the whites. I don't remember him building too many houses for blacks. I don't remember that, but I'm sure he probably did, because he was gone most of the days for building, when building was in style or when it was supposed to be. And he would build rock houses and all kinds of different houses. And we've got pictures of him, of houses where he built in Winston-Salem. But when it was time to go to college, if he had 4 kids, 3 and 4 kids in private school. Now, the little private school was not good either, and it was called Nelson Preparatory College, Nelson Preparatory School. And in that school, my daddy would help build the dormitories, the kitchen and the things there, and that's the way he would pay the tuition for his kids to go there. And as I said, 4 of my siblings went there. But when they got through there, it was still a second-rate school. It was not first-rate. And so my daddy found out that we couldn't go to college if we went there. So he tried to find some place for us to go. And he had an aunt in Winston-Salem that she had 1 daughter, and her house, she had a pretty big house, and she said she would be glad to keep a kid or so to go. And that's how my sister, 2 of my sisters stayed with her and went to high school. And then I stayed and went to high school. My baby brother worked for Clark Brown. He came to Adkins, but he worked for Clark Brown while he was going, and he would just come home on weekends. So I went on to Adkins, and when I finished with honors and went to Talladega. And they gave me a $100 scholarship. Well, I had $100 to Howard, Fisk, Virginia Union, but I didn't have one to Winston-Salem State, because Winston-Salem State didn't have a math major. And so I didn't want to go anywhere where they didn't have a math major, because I wanted to major in math. So my dad saw to it. So I left there and went to Talladega, and in 4 years I came back and started dating. Not much, but because they had me teaching math, and I had the little clubs and all of that. But anyway, I started dating my teacher, George Newell, who had taught me biology when I was a student. So we started dating, and in 2.5 years we got married.
Stay tuned, there's more to come.
We can make that happen, definitely.
This looks great.
We'll bring it and have
Getting through the morning meeting in one piece
Thanks.
feels good. Then realizing it's payday. That definitely feels good. All while keeping the kids busy and the clients happy. You're unstoppable. With a Wells Fargo checking account, you can bank without missing a beat.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Harry with Triad Cultural Arts. Thank you for joining us for The Rise to Prominence, a personal conversation with some of Winston-Salem's most historic leaders. This is a 4-part series, so we invite you to tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on the CW channel during the month of February. For more information about Triad Cultural Arts, please visit our website.
Her marriage to her former college professor was not only a marriage between 2 people in love, it was also a marriage of 2 brilliant minds, one of math and the other of biology, resulting in 2 brilliant daughters.
I have 2 daughters, and they are both medical doctors. One is infectious disease specialist, and the other one just married Dr. Branch's son, Jonathan, who is he's a heart specialist, and she is also a specialist in internal medicine. But this fall, coming this fall, I guess it'll be summer, she will start at Wake Forest Medical School, being an oncologist, pediatric, that's for kids. And she wants to do that because she said people who have cancers have babies, and the chemotherapy that they take, their hearts are affected. And she's going there and spend 3 more years. She's already a doctor. She's going to spend 3 more years being another doctor for the little babies.
The next phase of Dr. Newell's career began when both she and her husband were offered jobs at Winston-Salem State University.
We got a call to Winston-Salem that they wanted a dean of men and they wanted a math teacher. Well, we were the couple. So, and my family, I had some of my family to live, and they called. They were so glad that we were coming back home. So we did, and Mr. Kenneth Williams was the president.
We will continue the interview with Dr. Virginia Newell right after the break. It's an amazing story that you don't want to miss.
A good community is essential to a good life, and M&F Bank has been your community bank for more than 100 years. Our focus is to provide capital for small and medium-sized businesses, and being a community bank, all banking decisions are made locally. Please visit our website to learn more at mfbonline.com or call us at 336-722-0200. M&F Bank, where relationship banking is our most important priority.
With a new job at Winston-Salem State University, Dr. Newell was able to continue her career as a math instructor, but she was also met with new challenges.
I came back to Winston-Salem in 1965 and started working there. My husband was the dean of men, and they had a vacancy in the math department. So I started working, thinking nothing about it, and I just took my, things. I loved to teach, and I started teaching the modern math. I almost got fired because I thought that the kids, he gave me the book to teach out of, and I was teaching out of that book, and the kids didn't know what I was doing. And I kept going because they had not told me that they didn't have a math major. See, we didn't have a math major when I came back. Nobody had analyzed. We were having an exam for kids to enter. And those exams were put in a room. There was a room full of exams where the kids had taken them, English and math. And when my kids started saying to me, I don't know what you're talking about. You're just talking something. We don't know what you're talking about. I went to the dean because he had been told she ought to go to Harvard or Yale or someplace because we don't know what she's talking about. And I said, well, Mr. Parker, I'm trying to get the kids out of school so they could go to graduate school. He laughed at me. Graduate school? What are you talking about? Well, I almost cried. But anyway, I said, well, what in the world will I do, to myself and to my husband? He said, well, Virginia, I'll tell you, if you don't fix it so that those kids understand what you're saying, you won't be here long. And I said, well, okay, I guess I'll ask them. And I had some kids to come in to help in the department. And I said, you are in my class. I said, are you learning anything? She said, not much. I said, well, what is wrong with? She said, well, what you're teaching, we don't understand it. I said, well, this is the book he told me to teach out of. She said, well, I don't know what he told you to teach, but the kids are going to strike on you. I said, what? She said, yes, ma'am, they are. They're going to strike. I said, well, can you stop them? She said, well, I don't know whether I can or not. What do you want me to do? I said, well, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I said, could you just, the ones who are I said, there's some ringleaders. I know they are. I said, would you tell them not to strike on me and let me talk to them? She said, I can do that. I said, okay, well, you tell them that the next time they meet, I will talk to them and I won't teach anything. And I'll just find out. Well, I went home and told my husband. He said, Virginia, I told you they were. He said, you're too hard on them. They have had baby math and you giving them adult math. They don't understand it. He said, now listen to what they say and just guide yourself. He said, you can get a job, I guess, somewhere else, but we've just come from Raleigh. And he said, if I were you, I'd try to do what you can do. The kids came in that day. Instead of getting the chalk, I went to the board. Oh boy, I was like, I was something. I'd go to that board and they said I would erase and talk. And they didn't have time, they said, to copy what I had, because I'd erased it. And they said I was going so fast they couldn't even hear what I was saying. So I got up on the desk, sat up on the desk, and I said, students, I want to talk to you today. I didn't let them know that somebody had told me they were going to strike on me. She said, you can't tell on me. I said, I won't. I said, that would be terrible. I said, I'll never get anything else. I said, I will take it on myself. So I said, students, I understand that you're having difficulty understanding what. I said, well, the chairman gave me this book to teach out of. And I don't know what kind of background you have. I don't know how much math you've had. And I don't know what you expect out of this class. I don't know what you expect of me. But I said, I'll tell you what. I know that you took some tests when you came into the college. And I've never seen those tests. I don't know what you made. Did they grade them and we haven't seen them either. I said, well, would you wait until I find out what's on those tests? Oh, yes, ma'am. They were very supportive. I said, well, now, I can't do it today. But I said, when the class is over today, I will go to the person who did those tests, and I will ask her to give me what I need and all the tests to grade them. Well, let me tell you, when I went up, she got mad. What do you mean, walk those tests? I said, I want to know what my students know, so I will know how to teach them. You teach them what you're supposed to teach them. I said, well, they say they don't know it and they don't understand it. Well, I'll tell you where the tests are. She went in, opened the door like you would open it. There they are, all on the floor. I said, well, I want the tests from the kids that just came in. Well, they're in that corner, in that corner. You go over there and find them. Bring the kids, get the names. Well, let me tell you, that was terrible. It took me about a week to find them. But I went in there and I told my husband, he said, go on and find them. I said, oh, Lord, here's a pack. I'd get them and I'd go through and see if that were the names. Yeah. I'd find another pack. Now, after I found them, I had to go back to her and get the key. I said, where's the key now where I can grade them? Oh, I thought you were going. I said, I don't have time to work out all the problems. I want a key to see whether they're right or wrong. She went back and got it. Not good. So I sat up practically all night, grading those papers, grade them. You know what I found out? My kids were operating on the 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. Just listen. I hated to go in to tell them that. But I had to I said, Nathan, I would like for you to have a call meeting of the department. What do you want that for? They were all against me. It was just like I was a new person. What, you want to find out if they can learn? I said, well, I would. Yes, I would. I want to know what to teach. I don't know what to teach. That book that you gave me, they are not getting it. I can teach, Nathan. I said, that was proven when I finished Talladega. I know I can teach. And kids can learn if I'm teaching the right thing. But I said, we have found out that those kids on 6th, 7th, and 8th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever it was. What? I said, you didn't grade the papers. I graded them. And they are on that level. Well, what you going to do about it, Virginia? I said, well, first of all, I want the teachers to know what we're teaching, what grade, what level they're on, and what we have to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. But he had a meeting. Virginia wants to say something to you. So I took over. And I told him what the grades were this and the other. And I said, now, I think, this is what I think. I'm not the chairman of the department. But I believe we ought to, if these kids don't know any more than 6th, 7th, and 8th grade arithmetic, they don't have the Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and geometry and trigonometry, I think we ought to create and write a curriculum that they can learn. They don't know the algebra. No wonder they are saying that they don't know what I'm teaching. I said, and with your help, teachers, we will agree that the hours that we have to sit here and listen to the children, we will take those hours. I'll ask the chairman of the department, can we rewrite the material? And we will have our secretary to type it. That makes sense, Virginia. Yeah, we'll do it. I said, you will? I was so happy. Ooh. They said, when are we going to start? I said, we'll start tomorrow, or start tonight. I said, if you want to see your papers, come by my office, they're there. Every one of them came by and got their papers. I said, they're already graded. The names are there. You'll see what's there. I said, and then if you want me to get you an algebra, geometry, trigonometry book. They said, no, we know that. I said, I thought you did. I said, we can write that blindfolded. And we need to write it down where we know the big points that they have to need before they go to the next level. I said, all of us are mathematicians. We know what a child needs to go to the next level. And if he doesn't have this, he's going to be stopped right there. He can't go any further. They loved it. We got together, and it took at least 5 or 6 weeks for us to write it. I went back told my students, I said, students, we are writing you some material that we're going to teach out of. You are? Yes, ma'am. We cried, we laughed, we did everything. And the kids loved it.
An amazing woman. We'll have more of Dr. Newell's life story after this short break. You're watching The Rise to Prominence.
We can make that happen, definitely.
This looks great.
We'll bring it and have...
Getting through the morning meeting in one piece?
Thanks.
Feels good. Then realizing it's payday. That definitely feels good. All while keeping the kids busy and the clients happy? You're unstoppable. With a Wells Fargo checking account, you can bank without missing a beat.
Looking for that special outfit for a special occasion or everyday wear? Then step into Kiona's Boutique and Hat Shop and step out in couture suits, dresses, designer hats, and accessories that accentuate how special you are. You see, at Kiona's Boutique and Hat Shop, we specialize in women's fashions that are legendary. So remember, for that special occasion or a classy look anytime, you can find the style that is just right for you. Kiona's Boutique and Hat Shop, 235 West 5th Street, Winston-Salem.
With the successful redesigning of the math program, Dr. Newell's next challenge would be in a different field of instruction, but one that was growing in popularity and demand.
They knew we had the math department. That was already accepted. When the computer science department was asked, number one, it had to be written up, and we had to go to Raleigh to defend it. We wrote it up and had the secretary to do it. And then I asked all the people who had been hired in the computer science. They were just doing COBOL, PL1, and Fortran, or whatever they had as the languages. But I had to get the other part to put on. That was the bones. I had to get the other part to put on that and make it a program. And in fact, they had to have calculus before they could declare major in computer science. That had to be in there. Structures. There were just a lot of names that we had to put in the program. After we went to the state to defend the program, and they said, you got to have it, but then you got to bring it down here and let us see that you got it, and we have to tell you that it's okay. So 3 of us went to Raleigh, including the dean and one other teacher. And the 2 people who were supposed to defend it, 2 whites, we were all black, they were white. We were sitting like we were sitting here. And I was in the middle. And they came in and sat down. They said, who's gonna do the program? And I said, well, I guess it's me, I'm chair of the department. They said, okay, we'll go ahead. I pushed out our program to them. And I said, in order to do this, this is what we have done. We had the consultant, I told him, down at State College, you had to have a consultant. And we had Ron Thurston, who was from IBM. And we had, really, that's all. The other person was just teaching languages, but she didn't know anything about it. So he said, all right, go to it. And I started. He said, wait a minute, you're going a little too fast. I can't follow you. Well, I didn't know whether he was telling the truth or whether he wanted to really find out if what I was saying was true. He said, go back just a little bit. I said, okay, sorry. I said, if I'm going too fast, please let me know, because I can slow down. So I did. I slowed down. And I said, the first year in the math, in going into computer science, this is what they will have. And that is on this page. And courses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the first semester. The second semester, they will continue with courses 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the first year. Second year is on page so-and-so. They will begin, if they pass these, and they have to pass them with, I told them, whatever it was, C- or whatever. And I said, and if they are math majors, if they're going to be, they got to have A's in these courses. Blah, blah, go on. So when I got down to the third year, I had gone through every year. I finally got to the fourth year. And I was slowing up. They were nodding. I saw they were all hooked. And I said, well, I don't think I have anything else. I said, I do have this. People have been asking me about a program where if they are out in the field and they are doing the COBOL, which is the language for the business, or the PL1, or the whatever it is, if they're doing the scientific Fortran or whatever have you. I said, now there's so many languages coming until I can't keep up with them. I said, I want to propose after they get through with this computer an extra year. And I want to tell you what I have suggested that they take. And after that other year, additional year, which will be a 5-year program, we will give them a certificate in computer science, which will make them a little ahead of these BS, and they can be worth more money. And I said, in fact, they can take another year and get to be a master's in computer science, and they will be much more eligible for moving up in industry than the others. They said, that's an excellent idea. I said, I want to add that after and I said, and I want to tell you, I do have the courses that we have proposed for it. And I pulled out from my little package that I had the proposal, and I sent it out to them. Well, they were stunned. Those white people had been shot in the heart by this black woman. They asked my dean, where did she come from? That's all I can say. And my department, and I'm not bragging that much, but it was one of the top departments. We had the wherewithal, a laboratory, where we could talk, and it was a rectangular, not a rectangle, it was an octagon, 8 sides, where we could talk to computer science people all over the world. And all they could do is push a button. And we could get a lecturer in computer science PhD from the first and he would be the lecturer, and these people would sit around the table at Winston-Salem State and push a button and talk to him. You got it?
Stay tuned, there's more to come.
A good community is essential to a good life, and M&F Bank has been your community bank for more than 100 years. Our focus is to provide capital for small and medium-sized businesses, and being a community bank, all banking decisions are made locally. Please visit our website to learn more at mfbonline.com or call us at 336-722-0200. M&F Bank, where relationship banking is our most important priority.
Looking for that special outfit for a special occasion or everyday wear? Then step into Keona's Boutique and Hat Shop and step out in couture suits, dresses, designer hats, and accessories that accentuate how special you are. You see, at Keona's Boutique and Hat Shop, we specialize in women's fashions that are legendary. So remember, for that special occasion or a classy look anytime, you can find the style that is just right for you. Keona's Boutique and Hat Shop, 235 West 5th Street, Winston-Salem.
With a successful career as a college professor, another opportunity knocked on her door, one that would launch her into the political arena.
Some people came by our house, though, and said to us, we need a change in political. And my husband went to bed early. He went to bed about 8:30 every night. And I was up, and when they started talking about, we want you to run for alderman, I said, well, wait a minute. You can't talk to me about that. I got to get my husband up to listen, because I want to see what he says. So we got him up, and he came out, and he stayed a little bit. He said, yeah, so I told her I thought that she ought to be, she'll be good. And all he did was just nod and say, yeah, I think it's great for her to go in. So when I knew anything, he was taking me down or telling me where I should file. So, and then helping me get a group of people. But now I was taking a guy who was entrenched, and that was, I can't call his name right now. But anyway, he had been a politician for a long time. So when I ran the first time, I got beaten. And then the second time was 7-7. And I beat everybody for 4 terms. I was in there for 16 years.
During her 16 years as a member of the Board of Aldermen, Virginia Newell initiated several programs for community improvement.
One of the things that I got through was the East Winston Shopping Center. You know, we had to go 5 miles almost to get a loaf of bread, except to the little corner stores. They still had little corner stores. But the big markets were not even thinking about coming over there. So I got with some of the Republicans and some of the Democrats. We got some Republicans on there. And what I did was I just talked up. I talked about not having this and not having, it was dirty in East Winston, and we needed to clean up the mess, and we needed, and just really, they were great. Whites would send people over to help us, and then we started housing, the East Winston Restoration Association, and we started some housing, and we also got some houses done. And along with that, while I was down there, I got the Ivy Arms. That was a group of AKAs came together. We wanted a place to meet, and we didn't have a place because then you could go in any hotels. But our sororities, the kitchens and the living rooms and where we met was not big enough. So I made a proposal to the city, And I knew that some legislation was in the hopper, and I got with the mayor and all of my aldermen, and they voted for it. We got 44 units of apartments, and we've got a big place where we do meet. And I went to them the other night, and I told them, I said, if the Lord lets me live, we have grown out of this living room. And I said, we're going to start getting us a big one. See, once we pay for that apartment, we can buy another one and add to it, get it so that you can add more to it and make it bigger. And all of the people who work there are blacks. Wow. So it's a place that you can get jobs and where people feel good about their owning something. I got the Black Bank here, and now that was through arguing, political got it here. And I knew the president of the bank, Joe Sanson, and his wife and I went to Talladega together, and we would visit each other. And I said, Joe, how do you get a bank here, a black one? We don't have a black bank. And he told us, and we did it, and there's the Black Bank.
This is The Rise to Prominence, the story of Winston-Salem's African-American history. It's told by some of the movers and shakers who helped improve the quality of life for African-American citizens.
A good community is essential to a good life, and M&F Bank has been your community bank for more than 100 years. Our focus is to provide capital for small and medium-sized businesses, and being a community bank, all banking decisions are made locally. Please visit our website to learn more at mfbonline.com or call us at 336-722-0200. M&F Bank, where relationship banking is our most important priority.
Dr. Newell's concerns for the black communities were not limited to just business and housing, but also included guidance for the youth of those communities.
Well, so the police came to our place one night, and he said, I've got 100 students that I picked up. They are at risk for drugs, and I want you to give me permission to have a program so that we can take care of those. And I said, Mr. Police Officer, whose kids are those? He said, they're from East Winston. I said, my kids? Because I was the alderman of East Ward. He said, yes, ma'am. I said, well, look, I want you and the board of I was sitting at the board, just out of the clear blue. I want you to give me those kids so I can control them with love instead of a billy and a gun. The board said, well, Virginia, what do you want us to do? I said, I'll make a motion that we'll postpone it for next month. I had nothing. I had zero. I had nothing for them to be. I had no money. I only had the idea. And the next month, we started to work. Well, we started to work right then. And before we took those kids over, we had a number of organizations ready to help us. We had even the people who were on drugs came up to 14th Street. 14th Street, and that it used to be the little tea room, the little whatever it was. That was where the drunks and things were having a killing almost every night, every weekend. And I said, we want to clean this place out, close it down, and I would get somebody to go in with me, and they'd have the police to follow me. Then an article would come out, and then the rich people, let me tell you, we called it Best Choice. Best Choice now is on Highland Avenue in front of the Kennedy School. And we almost made that from scratch. And Flow Motors, the head of that thing, almost paid for that whole building there. And now we've got about 50 or 60 of those kids in there. None of them have gone into drugs. Now some of those kids have gone out, and I'll see them, they finish college. They are working in places, and they come, and if they see me or if they see anybody who was with them, it's just been wonderful. So that's part of what I have done. And of course, after 16 years, I left because I felt that I'd been there long enough, and I had done something almost every year that I had been there, and still doing it.
After many years of teaching as a college professor, helping students develop successful careers, and then serving on the Board of Aldermen, helping to improve the lives of many residents of the city, Dr. Virginia Newell decided it was time to retire.
Well, of course I have retired many years. Today I am a little over 100 in age, and people ask me, how do you feel being 100 years old? I said, well, you have to wait until I'm 200 so that I can know how it feels. I really don't feel any different, except I can't walk as well as I used to. I don't think there's anything wrong with my mind. I'm not sure about it. Maybe I'll let the people decide. But I do a number of things that I can do, and I can still use the phone, and I can write and, communicate with people and communicate with my kids. But I'm just sitting down, looking and listening and trying to find out what's going on in my country. That's about it.
Boy, what an amazing story. I mean, absolutely. That was just awesome. Smart, strong woman. And did she say her husband was also a college professor and that both of her daughters were medical doctors?
Yeah, I mean, that brilliance obviously just runs in the family. And did I mention that when we talked that she was 100 years old, and this was like a couple of years ago, she's sharper than I am, So.
I mean, gosh, she really is. She's an awesome lady. All right, and we are eternally grateful to her for all that she has done. And coming up a little bit later after the break, we've got another one of these remarkable stories for you. This one about Al Beaty, a former assistant city manager of Winston-Salem. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
We can make that happen, definitely.
This looks great.
We'll bring it and have
Getting through the morning meeting in one piece?
Thanks.
Feels good. Then realizing it's payday. That definitely feels good. All while keeping the kids busy and the clients happy? You're unstoppable. With a Wells Fargo checking account, you can bank without missing a beat.
Looking for that special outfit for a special occasion or everyday wear? Then step into Keona's Boutique and Hat Shop and step out in couture suits, dresses, designer hats, and accessories that accentuate how special you are. You see, at Keona's Boutique and Hat Shop, we specialize in women's fashions that are legendary. So remember, for that special occasion or a classy look anytime, you can find the style that is just right for you. Keona's Boutique and Hat Shop, 235 West 5th Street, Winston-Salem.
Welcome back to the Rise to Prominence. These are stories of Winston-Salem's African-American history. Our next story that we want to share with you is about Al Beaty, a city government official who left a really indelible mark upon the city and helped many people during his life. JP, would you like to add anything to that?
Margaret, that pretty much sums it up. He was smart. He was really dedicated to the city of Winston-Salem. and helping improve the lives of its citizens. So he's a good guy. We miss him, and here he is.
Al Beaty's story began when he was born as the fourth of what would become 7 siblings. As a young child and teen, Al had always had a penchant for working to help his mom, older sister, and brothers pay household bills and cover other living expenses. With 7 children in the Beaty family, Al was known as the glue because he was in the middle of 3 older siblings and 3 younger siblings. And like his older sister and brothers, his childhood education started at Kimberly Park Elementary School, and he too became a graduate of Atkins High School and was an active member of the Alumni Association. Continuing in the path of his older siblings, Al enrolled in Winston-Salem State University and earned a degree in history. He then acquired a teaching position in Tarboro, North Carolina, where he taught social studies at Canito High School for 5 years and also coached winning debate teams. In 1970, Al decided to return to his hometown of Winston-Salem and start the second phase of his career, working with the Experiment in Self-Reliance as a personnel specialist and later as personnel director. This was followed by positions with the City of Winston-Salem as Manpower Director and Personnel Director. In 1978, Al was selected to become the Assistant City Manager, where he worked closely with the police and fire departments. He supervised a comprehensive review of the public safety program of a combined fire and police service, prompting the return to separate, independent police and fire departments. Under his leadership, new procedures for public safety were developed, including initiation of downtown bicycle patrols, creation of the Police Review Board, and enhancement of training standards for police and fire personnel. Al encouraged a close working relationship among police, fire, and emergency management, and supervised the construction of the Public Safety Center and new fire stations to meet the growing demands of a growing city. Al Beaty's lasting impact in other areas of city government is seen in the many diversity programs he initiated, and which remain part of the city government today. He introduced the Minority and Women's Business Enterprise Program, developed plans for the city's Human Relations Commission, revised and upgraded the city's affirmative action programs, and pioneered development of affordable housing through community development block grants. In 1994, after 24 years of service to the city and its citizens, Al Beaty decided to retire. And to show its appreciation for his service, the city hosted a retirement party that was held at the M.C. Benton Convention Center. In recognition of his service to the citizens of Winston-Salem, the City Council voted in 2009 to name its new Public Safety Training and Support Center in his honor. Over the course of his career, Al received numerous awards and recognitions from many organizations. and from the city he loved, Winston-Salem. On August 28, 2014, with a life fulfilled, Al's earthly journey was completed. Alexander Al Beaty was truly one of a kind, a great son, brother, friend, and community leader that helped make Winston-Salem a great city.
So, JP, it's pretty obvious that the city of Winston-Salem is grateful for his contributions to the city's leadership. They even named the public safety and training building in his honor, and your family must be pretty proud of him as well.
We are, Margaret. But you know, Margaret, from a personal level, all of my siblings have done pretty well in their lives and their careers, and I don't want this a personal story about us so much. But we were raised by our mother, who worked in a tobacco factory at night, did domestic work during the day to raise her 7 children. And thanks to her love of her children, her hard work, we all were able to go to college and get careers as educators and corporate managers and administrators, and even one of them was crazy enough to start his own business. You know? So thank you, Mama.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, Mama, too. It sounds a lot like my mother as well, and a lot of other mothers out there. Those were 2 awesome stories. Really appreciate the work that you did on them. And coming up next week, we'll have one more program in this 4-part series, and this time we'll be talking to Dr. Larry Little. You may have heard of him, but you're really going to hear about him now. His journey as leader of the Winston-Salem Black Panther Party, also a community leader, city alderman, attorney, college professor, lawyer, all of this stuff. It's just amazing. And of course, you definitely don't want to miss any of that. I'm Margaret Johnson here with J.P. Beaty, and we'll see you next time on The Rise to Prominence.
The preceding program was paid for by Kelcher Communications.